Hey everybody, for today's tutorial I'm going to be working on my 1989 Kawasaki 454 LTD, or also known as an EN 450, and we're going to be replacing the brake cylinder up here. What happened was this viewfinder window here, you can't really tell, but it got a crack in it, so it won't hold any brake pressure, so the front brake essentially doesn't work. And also there's supposed to be a piston in here that pops out. I'm not sure why that's not working, but I have a new brake cylinder that we're going to be putting on, and I'll show you how to take this one off, install the new one, and bleed the brakes. So the first step is going to be to remove the mirror that's sitting on here. For that, I believe you need a 12, and you just twist that nut off right there and spin the mirror all the way off. And then the next step is to take off the actual brake lever that you grab onto. It goes right in here. It's just a 10mm bolt and a 10mm nut on the bottom, and all you have to do is take that off and the brake lever comes right off. Once you've done that, the next step is just going to be to crack this bolt loose. It's a 12, and this is your brake line, so when you crack it loose you will probably spill some brake fluid. That's why I have these paper towels here. You're going to crack that loose, and then also crack these two 10 mils on the handlebar here loose to actually detach the brake cylinder from the handlebar. Okay, as you can see, this is just kind of sitting here now. I took the back piece off of it. Make sure you hang on to those two bolts and the washers too, because you'll need it when you reinstall it. This nut is also cracked loose, so the next step is just going to be to remove this all the way, and then we'll go ahead and hook everything back up with the new brake cylinder in place of this one. This is the new brake cylinder that's going on. I'm just going to go ahead and clean it off before we put it on the bike. Try not to get any on the viewfinder window. Also forgot to mention, you're going to need to pull off this little electrical plug before you remove the brake cylinder. That's where the sensor goes, for the sensor to tell your brake light to go on. So when you remove the old brake cylinder, there's two washers on either side of the banjo bolt, the bolt with the hole that goes through it. Make sure the one stays, you don't even have to take the bolt all the way out. See, I just have it sitting there. So the one washer is still there. Then make sure you get the washer from the old cylinder and transfer it over to the new cylinder before you reinstall it, or else it'll leak. Just a general piece of guidance too. Brake fluid is really nasty stuff. You really don't want it to get on your paint. So I just kind of have some shop towels sitting around, kind of protecting the tank a little bit where it might drip, just in case, and also just have some around to clean up. In case you do drop some on your tank, you want to clean it up as soon as you can. And once you have the brake line hooked up on the new cylinder, which I do, just put that nut back in with both of the washers. Sorry, put the bolt back in with both the washers going through the brake line there. You're just going to go ahead and put things back on in the reverse order that you took them off. These, don't make them too tight, because you're just kind of bolting in the plastic, or really soft metal at least, so just kind of do them a little tight, but don't crank on them. And once you have those hooked up, you put these pins back in, same position that you took them off. Next step is going to be to take this off right here and hang on to this nut and bolt, and then go ahead and put your your old brake lever back in from before. Okay, so once it's all hooked up, you have to bleed the brakes. The way that we figured out to make it work is take this cap all the way off and fill it all the way with brake fluid under the rubber seal, and then just pump the lever until there's no more air bubbles coming out of the little holes in the bottom of this. Once that's good, put the cap back on, make sure the seal is really good, make sure this is really tight, and then down here you hook up, just hook up some line to the bleeder valve, which is right under there. Sorry, the lighting is bad. Hook it up to there, and then you pump the brakes, hold the pedal, the lever down, and then you crack this open, this nut right here at the base of the bleeder valve. Crack it open. Brake fluid should come out. Then you close it, pump the brakes again, hold it down, crack it open, close it, pump the brakes again, and just repeat that whole process until no more air bubbles are in this line when there's fluid coming out. Once there's no more air bubbles, your clutch pedal, your brake lever should be firm, and then you're all done. So then after that, just take your mirror, twist it back down in here, and use your 12 box wrench, 12mm box wrench to tighten that nut down, and you're all good to go.